G'day my friends, Marty Ware here from Marty's Garden. Unreal to see you here again, and welcome if you're new to the show where I teach worm farming. Yep, and then we actually turn all this valuable waste into castings and grow plants with it. It's a really cool place to be if you're into that type of thing. Today we're talking about cardboard and how I intend on using it, how I've been using it over the years in my different worm farms. I've got all the tiered worm farms, I've got flow-through worm farms, and I've even got a big massive windrow that I do. And I figured it's time that I got back into tray farming. I only tried it for about one season, one winter, to bring my worms indoors, and I was doing it in something shallower even than this, and this is a better tray. I was able to pick this up for about $3 Australian, holds around 10 litres of material, which I believe is perfect for me for breeding worms, feeding worms, and experimenting and seeing what's going on. Now, I've got all these different types of cardboards laid out in front of me, and towards the end I'll show you a cool little hack. And I want to talk about the reasons why we use cardboard in the farms and what I think the benefits are, and I'll show you the different ones as well that I've got. I've got them sort of stacked out around me here. Right, so the first one is the egg carton cardboard, right? This stuff, I really love it. You can sit it on top of the worm farm. It's really great in summer like that. You pour the water in, the water seeps down slowly, and then it keeps the worms cool, and it also breaks down. They feed on it, and it becomes a source of food. And then as it gets wet and starts breaking down a little bit, you rip it up and put a new one on top. So you can ask your cafes, they're throwing them out all the time, some of your neighbours, you can stack them up yourself and store them, and they work really great as a blanket that turns into a bedding. Now, I've got a whole lot of it ripped up here, as you can see, and that took me a while to do. I had to sit in front of the TV while I was just chilling out, and I'm going to use that for some bedding as well. And look, as I said, I'm going to be using these trays, and so it's going to be interesting what type of bedding that I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be sharing that more over time. I believe that bedding is super important for that type of thing, even more so than maybe in the sort of tiered worm farms. Now, when we're using cardboard, it's basically used to soak up excess moisture, especially when we're doing them in the trays like I've just shown you, because when we're adding veggie scraps and things, it holds a lot of moisture, and that can create a problem if there's nowhere for it to escape, right? We don't have any flow holes for it to get out as a leachate. And when we're doing this type of farming, basically that's what happens. So the cardboard and newspaper is used to soak up that sort of material and, yeah, create a little compost system in a way. Now it doesn't get hot in any way because it's just too small to do that. But if there's too much moisture, it can get really funky, and then it can create problems with pests and mites and smells and bad bacteria and all those things. So it's all about adding the right amount. And that's something that you just practice over time because you know how much you're feeding your worm farm. So it's really a trial and error, but you're better off starting off small and sort of working your way out until you go, well, I don't think I can feed any more on that. Right, so what I've got here also is some cardboard from a pizza box. I've just fell down here, so I'll just grab it. And, oh, there we go. Here it is. Now, the reason why I like this type of cardboard, the corrugated cardboard, is because it has these little grooves in it here. Well, they get up and down and run up and down underneath this bit here and hide, and I think they lay cocoons, different bacteria forms in there, and they just really enjoy it. And once it really starts sort of getting wet and moist, you can almost roll it up, they attack it hard then. It just seems to be one of their favourite food sources for some reason. And I think, you know, this brown cardboard is probably less processed as well. So maybe it's got more, maybe it's a better food source for them as well. And so I really like it. It makes a great worm blanket on top, and it also helps lock in moisture if you want to lock moisture in, because it stays dry for quite a while unless you start wetting it down. Or you can sort of like wet it down and put it in and to trap moisture as well from coming out if your farm's too hot and you want to keep that moisture locked in, you want to keep it cool. And I find it really good if you use it like this. So you're using the egg carton system and then you lock it over the top like that, and it creates this sort of like habitat for them, keeps it dark, creates the right humidity, and they just seem to really, really like that. Now, we're getting close to the hack at the moment. I just want to talk about the scraps. So I've got like a whole lot of scraps here as well. Avocado pits and different fruit, not fruit peels, bit of cabbage and stuff. And you can see I've got bits of paper just from the shop when I went shopping there. And I throw them in and I mix them in together because when this goes into one of the worm farms or into my compost tumbler where I have worms, that will help soak up some of the moisture. And remember, we're actually composting at the same time while we're feeding worms. So we do need a certain amount of carbon. If you're just using food scraps, it doesn't work, guys. You need that carbon source. All right, let's get to the hack here. Now, I'll show you something, this part first. This is a milk container, right? Cut in half. And what I've done is I've put some toilet rolls in there. Now you can use any type of these cardboard rolls to go in this. Now I'll show you this one, my original one, this little small one here. It's too small, but I just wanted to try it. And it worked really good. Within a couple of days, it sucked up all the moisture. They're really wet. And that's ready to go into some type of system where I want to keep moisture locked in and trapped in, or I want it to break down and get eaten much faster instead of soaking up moisture. So you can do that. You can make your own biggest ones that you want. You can even make a real big one and stick a whole newspaper in. You can break up big piece of cardboard and do it that way. I actually do my egg cartons inside the big wheelbarrow. I just stick them all in, like heaps of them, and then soak up and then rip it all up. So I think that's a really cool hack, and I really like that, and I'm going to be using that from time to time. Now, I am going to be farming more with these trays, as I said before. So keep an eye out for that. Plenty more videos coming up about it. Hopefully you enjoy what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and I can get some value out to you guys. Have a great day. Happy worm farming, and we'll see you at the next video real soon. Don't forget to leave a question down below if you've got any. I'm always happy to answer. Bye for now.